Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Tonight, the Middle East is once again in flames. A massive clash has erupted in Gaza. Hamas forces have launched a surprise strike on an Israeli military convoy near Khan Younis, leading to one of the most intense and deadly encounters since the start of the war. Reports emerging from the ground paint a picture of chaos, destruction, and fierce resistance. Eyewitnesses describe the scene as apocalyptic. Columns of Israeli vehicles moving through narrow roads suddenly engulfed in a hail of rockets, drones, and anti-tank fire. Within seconds, the entire convoy was hit, and the area turned into a battlefield. Smoke and fire filled the skies of Gaza's southern region as explosions echoed through the night. According to early reports from local and regional sources, the convoy consisted of at least 25 armored vehicles and supply trucks, part of an Israeli battalion tasked with reinforcing troops near the Rafah corridor. Hamas claims its fighters have been monitoring the movement for days, preparing a coordinated ambush using intelligence gathered through underground surveillance and local operatives. In a statement released by the Qassam brigades, Hamas declared that their units successfully destroyed or disabled multiple Israeli tanks, personnel carriers, and transport trucks. They also claim to have inflicted significant casualties among the Israeli forces. Israeli sources, however, have not released an official statement confirming the scale of the losses, but footage circulating online appears to show destroyed vehicles and secondary explosions in the distance, suggesting ammunition trucks were hit directly. The Israeli military, meanwhile, has begun retaliatory airstrikes across Gaza, targeting suspected Hamas strongholds, tunnels, and rocket launch sites. The bombardment has continued for hours, lighting up the Gaza skyline. Hospitals and emergency crews in Gaza report dozens of injuries as debris and shrapnel rain down across residential neighborhoods near the impact zones. Analysts are calling this incident a major escalation, a sign that Hamas still maintains strong operational capabilities despite months of relentless Israeli assaults. Military experts note that the precision and timing of this ambush show a high level of coordination, discipline, and strategic patience from Hamas fighters. In one chilling radio intercept, believed to be between Hamas units during the operation, a commander could be heard shouting orders to cut off the rear and target the lead vehicle. These tactics, used effectively in guerrilla warfare, trapped the Israeli convoy in a deadly kill zone, leaving them exposed and unable to maneuver. Reports from Israeli media confirm that reinforcements were quickly dispatched to the area, but faced resistance and heavy fire as they tried to recover the damaged vehicles and rescue the wounded. Drone footage from the region shows black smoke plumes stretching high into the night sky, visible even from miles away. In Tel Aviv, the Israeli Defense Ministry held an emergency meeting overnight. Defense Minister Yoav Gallant called the attack a calculated and brutal strike aimed at undermining Israel's military presence in Gaza. He vowed a powerful and sustained response, declaring that every member of Hamas involved in this ambush will be hunted down. However, the situation on the ground tells a different story. Many analysts believe Israel's ground operations in Gaza are increasingly stretched thin. Troops have been rotating for weeks. Morale is reportedly low, and urban warfare has taken a devastating toll on both soldiers and civilians. The ambush in Khan Younis may be the turning point that exposes these vulnerabilities. Regional reactions have been swift. Iran's foreign ministry praised what it called a heroic act of resistance, while Hezbollah issued a statement of solidarity, warning that any Israeli escalation could open a new front in southern Lebanon. Meanwhile, Egypt and Qatar have called for immediate restraint, fearing that this new wave of violence could derail ongoing ceasefire discussions. Internationally, the United Nations has expressed deep concern. The Secretary General stated that the latest confrontation risks a catastrophic widening of the conflict and urged all sides to halt attacks immediately. Yet, on the ground, the airstrikes continue, and the death toll is expected to rise. Footage shared on social media shows residents of Gaza fleeing their homes once again as the sound of Israeli jets and explosions fill the air. Power outages have been reported in multiple districts, and communication lines are unstable. Emergency workers are struggling to reach several areas due to damaged roads and ongoing drone surveillance. Amid the chaos, Al-Qassam brigades released a follow-up video allegedly showing the ambush itself, displaying burned-out Israeli vehicles and capture equipment. While the authenticity of the footage has not been independently verified, its circulation online has already sparked massive reaction across the Arab world. Supporters of the Palestinian resistance are calling it a decisive message that Israel cannot claim total control of Gaza. At the same time, Israeli officials have doubled down on their military objectives. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu reiterated that the campaign against Hamas will continue until complete victory. Yet, opposition voices within Israel are growing louder. Families of soldiers deployed in Gaza are demanding answers, asking why their sons were sent into areas that intelligence clearly showed were unsafe. The political tension in Israel is boiling as protests outside the Knesset demand accountability and a new strategy. For Gaza's civilians, this escalation only deepens the humanitarian crisis. Fuel shortages, lack of medical supplies, and constant air raids have made life unbearable. With each new wave of violence, hope for peace fades further away. Residents describe the nights as endless, sirens, airstrikes, and the trembling sound of approaching tanks. Analysts now warn that if this cycle continues, the conflict could spill into neighboring regions. Hezbollah's recent threats, coupled with Iranian support for Hamas, could ignite a regional confrontation that drags multiple nations into war. Satellite imagery even shows Israeli forces repositioning near the northern border, anticipating a possible second front in Lebanon. Meanwhile, U.S. officials are closely monitoring developments. Washington has reportedly urged Israel to limit its response and avoid civilian targets. But the Biden administration remains publicly supportive of Israel's right to defend itself. Inside Gaza, however, residents see this as another chapter in a never-ending nightmare. In the aftermath of the ambush, both sides are assessing their next moves. Hamas has gone silent, suggesting they're preparing for further strikes. Israeli reconnaissance drones have been hovering nonstop over southern Gaza, mapping out suspected hideouts. Every indication points to a new and dangerous phase of this war, one that could reshape the balance of power in the region. As dawn breaks over Gaza, the sky remains hazy with smoke. The ruins of the convoy still smolder. On both sides, the message is clear: the war is far from over. The ambush has proven that Hamas still possesses both the will and the capability to strike, even against one of the most advanced militaries in the world. And for Israel, it's a reminder that its ground campaign faces an enemy far more adaptable and determined than anticipated. This latest battle, fierce, brutal, and symbolic, may be remembered as one of the defining moments of this ongoing war. Whether it brings both sides closer to the end or deeper into destruction, only time will tell.